Have you ever felt like your life is just a pile of broken pieces, and no matter what you do, you can't quite put them all together? So many of us carry that feeling. Maybe it's because of disappointments, mistakes, or just the weight of trying to meet everyone's expectations. The world is full of voices telling us we're not enough, and it's easy to start believing them. But what if those broken pieces aren't the end of your story? Ephesians 2:10 says we are God's masterpiece created for a purpose. You're about to see how God crafts every broken piece into something beautiful. So, why do we feel broken in the first place? And it's a question that hits home for just about everyone at some point. Maybe you look at your life and wonder why you can't seem to get things together, or you feel like you're always one step behind where you think you should be. Sometimes it's your job, your relationships, or just the way you see yourself. Even if you try to hide it, that sense of not being enough can settle in quietly and stick around. A lot of this comes from comparing ourselves to others. You see someone's highlight reel, a big promotion, a perfect family photo, a new house, and it's easy to feel like you're missing out or falling short. That one moment of comparison can spark a whole cycle of self doubt. Suddenly, every misstep or disappointment feels like proof that you're broken, and you start to question your worth. But it's not just outside pressure. Our own experiences add to the weight. Maybe you've made mistakes you wish you could erase, or you've gone through things that left scars you can't quite shake. Sometimes it's not even about one big mistake, it's a slow build of little failures or hard seasons that make you wonder if you'll ever get it right. Take the story of a man who hit rock bottom. He lost his family, his way, and even his hope. Living out of his car, he was sure he'd never recover from his mistakes, but in that lowest place, he realized his trial was actually a turning point, a divine pivot that forced him to see himself and God in a new way. It was through that pain that he started to grow, and it was the struggle itself that made him stronger. James 1:4-6 teaches us that perseverance through trials leads to maturity and completeness, and that's exactly what happened for him. We often think our worth comes from what we achieve or how perfect we seem, but that's a shaky foundation. If you only feel valuable when things are going well, what happens when they fall apart? Research shows that tying your self-worth to perfection or achievements only makes you feel emptier when things go wrong. The truth is, your value doesn't disappear just because you feel broken. James puts it this way: when we consider trials pure joy, we're actually thanking God for the growth they produce. It's like a refining process. Those tough times burn away what isn't needed and reveal something stronger underneath. The struggles you face aren't a sign that you're failing. They're evidence that transformation is happening. So if feeling broken is part of the process, what does that mean for the hard moments you're in right now? Maybe those challenges aren't random setbacks after all. Maybe they're building blocks for something much bigger. When you're facing tough times, it's natural to wonder what's really going on. Are you just unlucky, or is there something beneath the surface? The idea that trials are actually building blocks rather than setbacks can be hard to accept, especially when you're in the thick of it. But that's exactly what the Bible teaches in James 1:4-6. It says that perseverance through trials leads to maturity and completeness. This isn't about being punished, it's about being prepared. God uses these moments to shape you into someone capable, resilient, and ready for what's next. Picture the process of refining gold. Gold comes out of the earth mixed with all sorts of impurities. To become pure, it has to go through intense fire. That heat isn't there to destroy the gold, it's there to burn away what doesn't belong. Our challenges work the same way. They feel like fire, and sometimes it's almost unbearable, but they're necessary for removing the things that hold us back. In fact, the original Greek word in James 1:3 refers to refining, just like this process. The result isn't just survival, it's transformation. You're not just getting through the fire, you're being changed by it, becoming more of who you're meant to be. Let me share a real story. There was a woman who lost her business, her home, and her marriage all in a single year. She felt like her entire life had collapsed, and for a long time, She questioned why God would let it all happen. It was only after months of wrestling with her pain that she began to see a shift. She started rebuilding, first with small steps, and then with a renewed sense of faith. She learned to trust God in ways she never had before, letting go of her own plans and relying on Him instead. Now she mentors others who are facing loss, and she's the first to say, I wouldn't be who I am now if I hadn't lost it all then. Her greatest setbacks became the foundation for her new life. This isn't just a spiritual idea. Studies show that people who maintain faith during hard times actually develop lasting resilience. They're better able to bounce back from future challenges and often find deeper meaning in their struggles. Faith gives you a reason to keep going when it would be easier to give up. As Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 12:10, "For when I am weak, then I am strong." It's in those moments of weakness that God's strength shapes you. So what does this mean for you? It changes how you see every challenge. Trials aren't just tally marks for how many times you've been knocked down. They're the tools God uses to mold you, to help you grow in perseverance, and to clear away what doesn't belong in the masterpiece He's creating. Each hardship shapes you a little more, revealing parts of His design you couldn't see before. How might God's furnace reveal the masterpiece He's crafting in your life? There's something powerful about realizing you're not just a work in progress, you're a work of art in progress. That's what God's extreme makeover is all about. It's not about patching up the outside or hiding the mess. It's about real transformation that starts deep inside, and it's happening every single day. Picture your life as an unfinished painting. Every brushstroke, whether it's a bright highlight or a dark shadow, is part of a bigger design. Sometimes when you're standing too close, it all looks like chaos, but the artist isn't confused. God, the master artist, sees the final picture. He's not rushing to finish or skipping over the messy parts. Every detail matters, and nothing is wasted. This kind of transformation isn't just a quick fix. Salvation is the starting point. The makeover continues as God shapes us day by day. Paul says you are a new creation, 2 Corinthians 5:17. The old is gone, the new has come. But that doesn't mean you wake up instantly perfect. It means God has begun something new in you, and now He's working bit by bit to bring out the person He designed you to be. Ephesians 2:10 calls you God's masterpiece. The word for masterpiece in Greek is poema, which means work of art or even poem. That's not accidental. It means you are crafted with intention, not just thrown together. Every part of your story, even the broken pieces, has a place in what God is making. He's not just fixing what's wrong, He's creating something uniquely beautiful out of your life. Think about the process. It's not always easy. Sometimes God's work feels more like a sculptor chiseling away at stone than a gentle painter adding color. There are moments when it hurts, when you wonder why certain things have to go. But just like a sculptor sees the statue inside the marble, God sees the masterpiece inside you. He's carefully removing what doesn't belong, revealing what's been there all along. Look at stories from the Bible like Hagar. She felt invisible and abandoned, but in Genesis 16:13, she meets God and realizes, "You are the God who sees me." That encounter didn't erase her pain, but it gave it meaning. Her struggle became a part of her testimony, a detail in the bigger story God was painting. And this transformation isn't just about you. As God works in your life, He gives you new strengths, new gifts, and new wisdom that ripple out to others. The beauty of God's plan is that your story becomes hope for someone else. The cracks and scars you carry aren't flaws to hide. They're places where God's grace shines through. When you embrace this truth that you are God's workmanship, His poema, it changes how you see everything. You stop chasing perfection or worrying about being enough. Instead, you live knowing you're a masterpiece in progress, shaped by the hands of a loving Creator. As you hold on to that, you start to notice how each challenge, each victory, and each ordinary day fits into the bigger picture. The process isn't always easy, but it's always purposeful. And as you lean in and trust the artist, you'll find yourself becoming more and more of who you were always meant to be. You are God's greatest masterpiece, crafted with intention and purpose. Ephesians 2:10 says you are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works that he prepared for you. Every challenge and every joy is a brushstroke in that work of art. You're not an accident, and nothing in your life is wasted. Pause right now and name one struggle you're grateful for in advance. Thank God for the growth he's already forging through it. Try journaling 3 ways you've seen God's hand in recent trials. This simple step can help you see his artistry in your story. And remember, as Romans 8:38-39 reminds us, nothing can separate you from the love God has for his masterpiece, you. Stay blessed by the best, friends.